Welcome to another edition of Biblical Errancy Commentary, the series that takes a critical look at Scripture, pointing out its numerous errors, contradictions, and fallacies. This program teaches a kind of Sunday school in reverse by giving you the biblical information that you should have heard but didn't. With millions of Americans fearing a totally one-sided presentation of the Bible, balance is greatly needed. Only when people are given both sides of an issue can a truly objective analysis be possible. And here to provide the alternative perspective is the editor of Biblical Errancy newsletter, Mr. Dennis McKenzie.
Welcome to the 49th edition of Biblical Errancy Commentary. We're pleased you've joined us. This program is the second in our series on the character, integrity, and credibility of Jesus Christ. In the previous program, we exposed 11 dishonest deeds by Jesus, in which his actions didn't match his words. We'll now continue our discussion by moving to even more examples. 12. John 18:37 says, Pilate said to him, Art thou a king then? Of course, he's talking to Jesus. Jesus answered, Thou sayest that I am a king. To this end I was born. Unquote. Apparently, Jesus doesn't know the difference between a question and a statement. Pilate asked him a question. He didn't make an accusation. This kind of chip-on-your-shoulder attitude on the part of Jesus is not only unjustified, but quite pronounced in several instances. 13th. In Luke 22:31-33, we are given an excellent example of why prayer is all but worthless. Jesus said, quote, Simon, Simon, he's talking to Peter, Behold, Satan demanded to have you, that he might sift you like wheat. But I have prayed for you that your faith may not fail. And Simon said to him, Lord, I am ready to go with you to prison and to death. Unquote. Jesus prayed that Peter wouldn't desert him. But one need only read Matthew 14:31, 16:23, and 26:69-70 to see that his prayers were to no avail because Peter denied him after the trial. How can prayers be of value even when the supplications of God himself are of no use? Jesus asked, but never received. He prayed for Peter's faith to endure, yet Peter denied him when the chips were down. The effectiveness of prayer is one of those elusive hopes that is held out in a kind of now you see it, now you don't fashion. In Matthew 21:22, Jesus seems to answer all of our problems by saying, quote, And all things, whatever you ask in prayer, believing you shall receive. Unquote. John 14:14 holds out the same fleeting promise by saying, If you ask anything in my name, I will do it. Unquote. Yet his promise is dashed by much more realistic comments found in Lamentations 3:44 and Isaiah 1:15, which say, quote, Thou, that is God, have covered thyself with a cloud that our prayer could not and should not pass through. And the other verse saying, When you spread forth your hands, I, that is God, will hide my eyes from you. Yea, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. Unquote. Those who think their prayers are going to be answered on a routine basis have discovered, like millions of Christians, that that's a little more than a pipe dream. Millions of believers have prayed to Jesus millions of times only to be met by disappointment and failure. His promise that prayers would be totally effective has been proven to be as miserable a sham as his promise that all power will come to those with faith. 14th. John 20:17 records Jesus as having said to Mary Magdalene when she met him after the crucifixion, quote, Touch me not, for I have not yet ascended to my Father." Unquote. What a pathetic scene. Mary Magdalene was one of the true disciples of Jesus. In the darkness of the crucifixion, she lingered near and was one of the first to arrive at the sepulchre. Defeat, disaster, and disgrace could not conquer her love. And yet, according to this account, the risen Christ told her to touch me not. Is that any way to reward the infinite devotion of a loyal follower? 15th, Jesus told people in Matthew 19:19 to love thy neighbor as thyself, which would certainly include your parents. Yet he told his mother in John 2:4, quote, "Woman, what have I to do with thee?" Unquote. Imagine him talking to his own mother in such a disgraceful manner and addressing her with such an impersonal word as woman. Luke 2:48-49 and Matthew 12:46-50 provide additional instances in which Jesus was rude to his own mother. Talk about an insolent offspring. 16th. In Matthew 15:4, Jesus told people to honor their fathers and their mothers. Yet in Luke 14:26, he said, quote, "If any man come to me and does not hate his father, his mother, and his wife and children, and his brethren, and his sisters, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple."